Hello, Naruto fans, and and welcome to another video by your favorite YouTuber, Grant the Hierophant. We've come today to the video hidden within the sub box to talk about a game that's really cool. Believe it. So hold on to your kunai and your ramen because we're about to delve into an old Gamecube classic. But before we get to that, did you ever notice how the second game in any series is usually the best one? I mean, Crash Bandicoot 2, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Polio 2. Yeah, like, think about it. Name a game that's the second game in a series, and I'll guarantee that 9 times out of 10, it's a fucking banger. There's something about the number 2 that just breathes success. Because it's a sequel, it's more likely to be good. At least when it comes to games. It's more likely to be, you know, better than the first. A sequel is a second chance to make something worthwhile with the added benefit of having a foundation to work on. A foundation that's already built, I mean. Especially when it comes to games, where a team can just reuse an engine that was made for the first game. This means far less time is spent trying to get that engine going, and more time is spent creating characters, environments, and perhaps even a more detailed playing experience. When it comes to older games that came out before everything was online, they had to make sure that the game worked. Shocker, I know. And that there were as few bugs as possible. These were the golden years, if any internet critics are to be believed. The years where you couldn't just release an unfinished game and patch it a million times until it was passable enough to play. While it must have been a complete nightmare to iron out bugs in the past, a sequel was the chance to iron them out even further. There may have been bugs that the players have found after release as well, that the dev team might have missed. Bugs aside, a sequel is also a wise investment. As stated, you have an engine, so sequels require substantially less work to create. You can see where I'm going with this, right? Well, 3 solid paragraphs into this review, and I'm finally mentioning the game we're about to discuss. Naruto Clash of Ninja 2. For the Gamecube. For the lovely plastic cube that gives all the good memories. Clash of Ninja 2 was released on December 4th, 2003. What? What's that? That was the Japanese release? Okay. Well, let's look at the American release. I'm sure it can't be too far behind. September 26th, 2006. What the fuck? Damn, this game took almost 3 full years to release in North America. What's worse is the fact that this came out pretty early on in the GameCube's lifespan in Japan. Try saying that 3 times fast. Whereas it was nearly the end of the era of the GameCube in North America. I mean, the Wii released on November 19, 2006, just a few months later. Clash of Ninja 2 was a little late to the party, and it shows. That's because, despite the fact that it's only the second game, it's also the last in its series. Before I forget to mention it, the game was made by Eitan and Tomy. I was always more of a Bandai Namco guy, but whatever. Tomy were the go-to guys for making anime licensed games in the 2000s, for those of you not in the know. Boruto's Dad, Clash of Ninja 2, is a competent fighting game in the style of Soul Calibur and Tekken. It's a basic game. There's only 2 different buttons for attacks. There's also a grab move and a special move tied to the Y and X buttons respectively. You can change lanes by using the shoulder buttons and move back and forth using the analog stick. Moving backwards while being attacked will also result in your fighter blocking. That's it. As far as fighting games go, I'd say it's simple enough for any fan of the show to pick up without having to learn too much. There aren't many complicated systems in this game, and you can get by just by spamming a favorite button combo over and over. Oh yeah, there's also a counterattack for most fighters, activated by holding backwards on the analog stick and hitting A. Some characters enter a state where, if attacked, they will counterattack, while some other characters will simply throw a punch that has armor on it. Armor, for those of you not in the know, is a term used to describe a state in which a character will not flinch if attacked. Depending on how much armor they have, it may take a few blows before their animation is cancelled, in favor of them stumbling. Don't let the simple controls fool you. There's a bit of depth when fighting. You have a list of combos that can be pulled off, viewable from the pause menu, and a chakra bar at the bottom of the screen which will fill up when you attack or are attacked. When the chakra bar is completely full, you can unleash a super move by pressing X. Each character has a unique special move, obviously. Pressing X will result in a unique attack animation, and if that animation lands, you will perform your super. If you whiff, then your chakra bar will be empty and you're left back at square one. Also, you can dash by double tapping a direction with the analog stick, and this will put you in a state of running, where unique combos can also be performed depending on the character. You can also burn your chakra meter after it hits the first of the two orbs by mashing L or R when you're hit, which will result in your fighter using a substitution jutsu to get out of the way of an attack. A neat touch is the fact that some characters have unique substitutions, like Haku turning into water or Gaara turning into sand. With all of these mechanics in place, you'd be right to assume that battles can get a little hectic. When playing against friends, you'll both be spamming combos and special moves, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a boatload of fun and great at parties, at least if you can convince your friends that Naruto isn't lame as fuck. I feel bad for the guy who brings this to the party and has to tell everyone that it's actually a pretty fun game. What would you do if I challenged you to a fight in Clash of Ninja 2?
It would be extremely painful.
You're a big ninja.
For you.
You can also set up fights that have more than 2 people in them, but it's a recipe. But why would you want to do that? It's a recipe for utter disaster. The engine was obviously intended for one-on-one fights, not those arena scrambles. You auto-lock onto an opponent in these fights and can switch the lock-on by hitting Z, but it feels very stiff and shitty. It's hard to explain, but characters are too bulky to be effective. You can try to switch targets mid-combo, but most characters' combos will have them continue attacking forward and not turn around. You can even pass an opponent and face the other direction, which is the most annoying thing ever, because you have to turn them around manually each time this happens. I'm not usually this nitpicky, but it happened more than enough times to cause a few problems, like opponents getting sucker punches in, or inputs not being read correctly. The combos are also simple. You'll just be using one of the 4 cardinal directions to trigger them, often just backwards or forwards, with up usually leading to a jump and down usually leading to a slide, or some other special move. Either way, you're not going to be putting in quarter circles or any complicated button combos. It's all extremely streamlined, and I personally enjoy that. I'm not saying that combos in a fighting game scare me, you know, I'm not a Smash player, but enough about gameplay. Let's talk about the story mode. The story is broken up into a mission structure. You play through 20 missions that span from the Land of Waves arc to the Konoha Crush arc. While the game itself does follow the story of Naruto pretty well, they leave out quite a few fights that would have been fun to play. Tamari and Tenten are omitted for no real reason, as are Shino and the third Hokage, despite the third Hokage's voice being on the menus. It's a bit weird since their counterparts are in the game, Kabuto and Orochimaru. Maybe the devs were burnt out and didn't want to program other fighters. I don't know. The addition of Akamaru in the roster strikes me as more of a I did this in an hour over my lunch break, instead of a I could have put someone else in the game but I chose a dog. Some major fights are missing from the story as well. But I'll be honest, they probably took place off screen in those dialogue boxes that I skipped through. Yeah, there aren't cutscenes, just dialogue boxes. Jesus, what was this made in 6 months? It wouldn't have taken much effort to make more of these, so why are there so many fights missing? You don't get to fight Kankuro as Shino. You don't get to fight Gaara as Sasuke. Okay, you do, but it's in the wrong place. Some of these fights would have been fun, but they're omitted for no good reason. Maybe having 30 missions instead of 20 would have been daunting to new players, but honestly, I'd say the more the merrier. That said, I should also mention that there are 30 missions already, and 10 of them were a secret, but I'm totally spoiling that right now. Spoiler alert. You unlock these missions in the shop. The shop houses collectibles and characters that you can buy with in-game coins earned from fighting and completing story missions. The economy is a bit fucked. Early unlockables like Zabuza and Haku are dirt cheap in comparison to Orochimaru and Sharingan Sasuke. The game is grindy as fuck if you want to unlock everything. And I wouldn't blame anyone for giving up once they see how much Sharingan Sasuke costs. It's a means to gate the player from unlocking things too early, but I think Smash Bros. Melee did a better job at portioning unlockables throughout any given playthrough. Sure, some unlocks were bullshit, like playing the versus mode for 20 hours in total, but most of the other characters were metered out fairly well. There were also a myriad of different things you could unlock, like trophies, stages, missions. Naruto Clash of Ninja 2 suffers because, yes, you can unlock stages, missions via the shop, but it's the worst case scenario. You have to keep fighting the same fights to try and earn enough money to buy them. While this may seem nice at first, given that you can choose any different mode to play and unlock your coins with, it quickly boils down to a complete grind fest where you try to find the most efficient way to earn coins, leading to a scenario where you aren't choosing which ones you want. You're just playing the most effective one. Imagine if you could only unlock Falco by playing 300 versus matches instead of using the alternate way of clearing a 100-man melee. What could be one tough, prolonged fight turns into 300 boring, regular fights. Now imagine all the characters were unlocked by playing more and more versus matches instead of fun challenges. That's Clash of Ninja 2. Back to the story though, I should mention it's a few different fights from the mentioned arcs and not much else. Story missions 1 through 20 are canon, as is 30, but missions 21 through 29 are just fun matchups. For some reason, Guy's a fighter in this game, despite not having a fight in missions 1 through 20. So the devs were like, hey look, I know we don't have Tamari or Shino yet, but let's put Guy in the game. That'd be fun. To their credit, he is fun, but that's an odd choice. It's a small roster for a fighting game, especially since 2 of the characters are joke characters. I just wish there were more playable fighters. Naruto is a ninja, right? Who fights some dudes, right? And then he tries to gatekeep people by saying he had a rough childhood, right? That's all you need to know, really. The best parts of the anime are the fights, not the character interactions. And, well, that and the music, which slaps like a motherfucker. Music that, for some reason, is absent in this game. But that didn't stop Clash of Ninja 2 from having its own bangers, like this song in the nighttime version of the Gate stage, which, you know, has no right to slap as hard as it does. Speaking of shit from the anime that's not in the game, there's also this opening anime clip show that plays at the start and has nothing to do with the game at all. I get it, Gamecube discs don't have a ton of memory, but boy would it have been cool to have little snippets from the show play between missions in the game. There aren't even slideshows or anything, it's just scrolling text boxes. They're voiced, so that's something, but it feels like they only had the voice actors for like a day, so some of these reads are just kind of weird. Okay, now, Choji is using the human boulder on a dude. He needs to sound like he's attacking him. Go. Okay, great. Print. Less is more, I guess. It would be weird if they were constantly talking and quipping. It's hardly worth bringing up. Oh yeah, Choji's not on the roster either. He's just a summon for Ino's special attack. What's with this game choosing the roster? It's so scattershot. Okay, I'll stop harping on it, but it's just it's weird. The story mode is fucking stupid and gets hard super fast. It feels like they're scaling a difficulty slider that's making the AI more competent and aggressive the further you get into story mode. What's worse than that is this one mission though. I mean, you just fight a bunch of clones over and over. It's annoying to say the least, and made even worse is the fact that you eventually unlock a mode that is just this mission on a slightly larger scale, and it's the best way to grind for money. Why? They should have just given the player more money for fights or made shit at the shop far less expensive. To 100% the game, the most efficient way to grind is to play this mode several hundred times, and it gets boring after the first 2. Speaking of annoying shit, shuriken attacks are annoying as fuck to deal with when you're on the receiving end. But fun as fuck to use when you're throwing them. Not every character has a shuriken attack or a ranged attack though, which is nice, but you know. Why am I mentioning this? Despite the occasional omitting of important fights, I'd say a lot of care was put into the game itself. There are a lot of neat touches, like Kakashi's portrait below the health bar showing the correct eye covered depending on which way he's facing. It would have been far easier just to mirror the image and call it a day, but the devs seemed quite diligent in making small touches like this come to life. The alternate color schemes for fighters are cool, and some of the characters even have alternate models, like Haku without his mask and Sakura with longer hair. This even changes Sakura's special move, where her line art actually has longer hair too. Sharingan Kakashi can use his counterattack to copy most specials, and some of them even change certain aspects for the special. For example, when he copies Zabuza's special, he uses Chidori when attacking. If he copies Sakura's special, he will have his own unique line art to accompany it. Little touches like these show that the developers really seem to enjoy making this game. It would have been so easy just to have Sakura's line art instead and call it a day, but the fact that they made special assets for a single character's copy ability shows that they were on their A game. Rock Lee gets a special move apart from his regular chakra special move, in that he can open his chakra gates. Opening them once will make him stronger, but opening them twice is what gives him vast amounts of chakra, at the cost of constantly draining health. It's a great risk versus reward and turns him into a massive glass cannon. It also changes his super move, which is also a cool touch. Another weird thing is the abundance of mirror matches that can happen without having unique intros for them. Like, you could have Naruto say, you look a lot like me, and then have the other Naruto be like, I don't remember 9/11. Maybe one of them could be the evil Naruto. You know, evil, like the opposite of the hero. Hello, I am Evil Grant the Hierophant, and this week I will release 2 videos. There was so much love and care put into other parts of this game that it feels odd that they didn't account for mirror matches. I mean, they have special dialogue when fighting certain characters. Sakura apologizes for beating up Sasuke after winning. Most canon fights will have unique dialogue like Naruto vs. Kiba or Rock Lee vs. Gaara, and similar instances occur here and there with fights like Naruto vs. Iruka. These are great little rewards for any fans of the series, really. My favorite intro is when Sasuke stamps out his cigarette. It's honestly a love letter to fans of the anime and, well... Hey, do you think Naruto ever uses his shadow clones to gangbang Hinata? You can change the AI's difficulty, the amount of damage your attacks do, and various other options in the options menu. These will only apply in certain modes, though. There's also a unique handicap feature if you choose to use it. Each player is given 5 points and a list of handicaps to choose from, like increased attack power, maximum chakra gauges, and stuff like vampirism. Each handicap has a cost, and you're allowed to mix and match so long as the points come to a total of 5. It's a fun and unique way to assign a handicap. What's better is that it spices up fights pretty well. It's not like you're just toggling damage inputs and outputs, you're slightly changing how each player fights as well. You can also unlock character cards for all the fighters, but honestly I was too burnt out trying to unlock the fighters to care about the extra stuff. They already cost so much money that I didn't have much left for unlockables. The fighters themselves are nice and all, but honestly some were just built better than others. Sharingan Sasuke and Sharingan Kakashi are both competent, and Ninetales Naruto is also a beast character and that can beat the shit out of anyone. Then you have Neji, who can pressure opponents absurdly well. And then you have a fucking dog. Then you have characters like Kiba and regular Naruto who are just okay at fighting. After that comes low tiers like Iruka and Iruka. Characters like Orochimaru and Neji can even deplete your fucking chakra bar, leaving you utterly vulnerable, and it's insane how overpowered some of these fighters are. Here's my tier list. No, I'm not going to explain it. The game is great and a wonderful choice for anyone looking to get in the fighting game genre. It's simple without being boring. Despite having only 2 buttons for combos, it's able to captivate a player. Me and my friend Aiden played a bit of the multiplayer while preparing to make this video, and I'd have to say we had a blast. I'd like to think anyone can pick up this game and have a great time playing it. I've also heard that Clash of Ninja Revolution 2 for the Wii was far better, but I couldn't tell you since I never played it. Speaking of better games, Naruto got a lot of fighting games, just like most shonen anime did, but it seems they only got better with time. My personal favorite is the Ultimate Ninja Storm series, which really got good with each entry. It's insane how good it got. I don't know. I'd recommend it if you can find a copy. Chances are you'll be able to find it at any discount game store, or even eBay if you're the impatient type. I wouldn't drop everything to play this, God no. This isn't as good as Super Punch-Out or Dead Rising, but it's good enough that you should buy it if you get the chance, and you like fighting games. The fighters are a bit stiff at times, but at the end of the day, it's a competent fighter and perfect for anyone trying to get into fighting games. Believe it. Wait, I already did that joke. But overall, I'd have to say my favorite character was Sakura. She's really well balanced. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you liked it. Sorry for the slow releases. I'm terrible with my release schedule, so hit that subscribe button and like that like button and hit that share button. Share this with share this on Facebook. Thanks again for watching.
I haven't a clue what's going on here, but I'll act like I do.